was a simple one, but it was only in 2013, 75 years after the shots were fired, that definitive clarity was finally achieved. This is his story. 1. La paix, la paix, la paix. Fondling another glass of Bon Vin Rouge, the exhausted Premier of France tried without success to relax into his plane's plush seat. He was flying home from Germany after signing what history would come to condemn as the Munich Pact. It was October 1st, 1938, as the two-engine, 28-seat Air France luxury airliner flew westward into the declining European afternoon. This was not the Premier's first glass of red for the day, nor would it be his last. Edouard Daladier was normally an abstemious man, but some suspected that he had signed the actual agreement itself, then seen as the salvation of civilization, in a state of less than perfect sobriety. The Premier was desperately unhappy. Daladier was a stubby, deceptively tough-looking politician from the south of France. He had a wide, square, stolid face, and within 24 hours countless newsreels would show the world that he was the shortest leader among the four at the meeting he had just left, shorter than Hitler and Benito Mussolini, and much shorter than the British Prime Minister Neville Chamberlain. With his thick neck, heavy head, and implacable brow, Daladier's political nickname was the Bull of Vaucluse. He looked tough, fearless, decisive, and that look had helped elect him. Looks deceived. Daladier was an intelligent man, and in contrast to Neville Chamberlain, he was not wrong about Hitler. Chamberlain believed that it might be possible to treat Hitler as a normal politician. Daladier did not. His assessment of the Nazi threat to his country and the world was lucid to the point of clairvoyance. He knew who Hitler was. Knowing that, he also knew that he had just played a losing hand in Munich. The night before, he had signed away part of the stature and power of France. He had signed because he was indecisive and doubted that France could face down Hitler with a threat serious enough to frighten the tyrant. He was afraid that a second world war would begin on his watch. "If I'd had 3,000 or 4,000 more aircraft," he later said, "Munich would never have happened." If he had 3,000 or 4,000 more aircraft, France would have responded to Hitler's threat to invade Czechoslovakia with a declaration of war. Either to toast or to drown the illusion of peace, Daladier took another sip. The Premier's 5-hour flight from Munich was nearing its end. The Air France aircraft had been back in French airspace for the last 90 minutes. Daladier knew what was coming. He would step off his plane and walk across the tarmac to the thicket of microphones, newsreel cameras, and clamoring reporters. There he would make some sort of statement. The welcoming committee would include the usual dignitaries, led by the Foreign Minister of France, Georges Bonnet, who would step forward to greet Daladier with unfeigned joy. It was joy because Bonnet was as delighted with the Munich Pact as Daladier was troubled. As the prime appeaser of appeasers, Bonnet was convinced that France would be the sure loser in any confrontation with Germany. He was one of the sly masterminds behind all that had just happened in Munich. After making his statement, the Premier would step into an open car where he would sit beside his beaming foreign minister during the ride back into Paris. And clustered at a distance, neatly confined behind the airport's police lines, there would be the public, delirious with either rage or joy. Had they come to idolize him or assassinate him? Daladier merely muttered the question, and his aides were shocked to realize that the Premier's query about his possible assassination on the ride home was not quite a joke. He was unsure whether the French public would see Munich as a defeat or a victory. He genuinely feared the fury of the people. What if they saw, as he did, that in the depths of the night before he had subjected his country to a defeat without a battle? The Premier was as divided and paralyzed as the nation he led, a nation close to civil war over the great choice of the 30s, democracy or dictatorship, power or decadence, daring or defeat, confronting Hitler or doing what the Premier had just done in Munich, saving the illusion of peace with a real surrender. Edouard